welcome to another live episode. I am your host, Wize. I'm excited because my next guest, the topic that we're about to discuss is something I love talking about, which is the law of attraction. If you checked out the podcast, you know I've seen The Secret. I've actually got to speak to Bob Doyle. It was a great experience. So I'm excited. So welcome to the show, Zehra Mahoon.
Yay! Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you for being a guest. Listen, like I said, this is a topic I love talking about is the law of attraction. Um, 2007, I watched the DVD, read the book, and it really has made an impact on my life. But we're gonna get into it.
We're going to get into it.
Yes,
Yes.
we are. So can you share that pivotal moment or inspiration that led you to commit to transforming your self-worth in 2006?
Oh my goodness. It was a series of things, not one moment. It was a series of struggles. And because I couldn't fix my problems with money because I didn't have any, I needed to find a way to fix my problems that didn't involve spending money. So when I started really going into how does this stuff work, because I'd been fond of reading empowering literature for many years, but I hadn't really put it into action. It's like, you find a new book or a new course, and you go through it, and it's wow, it's fantastic while you're doing it, and then you put the book away and you forget about it.
Yeah.
So even though I had been on the journey for a very long time, I hadn't really put it into practice. And when my life got to a point where I had no choice, and then I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. And so I went deep in, because I'm one of those people that if you tell me to use something, I will want to research it. I'll want to figure out how it works, why it works, before I'll use it. So that's why I went deep. And literally my life depended on it. I had no choice. So I made a lot of mistakes actually. I did a ton of stuff that didn't work. Some things got better, some things got worse, and I got to a point where I was like, if this is a law, like, we say gravity is a law, the law of gravity. If
Yes.
this is a law, then I should be getting consistent results. I shouldn't be getting some good stuff and some bad stuff. It should not be like throwing spaghetti at the wall. I should be able to tell what will happen. If I do this, this will happen. If I do this, this will happen. Because it's a law. We don't walk out of our doors and expect to fly. Like, we know speed, distance, trajectory. We can do those calculations, and they are exact because gravity is a law. So I wanted to figure it out, because it didn't make sense to me that if we are calling it the law of attraction, it must be consistent.
So what did you start doing to see the consistency? What were the things, the changes and the shifts that you made?
I made lots of mistakes, like Edison. Like Edison, I did 1,000 experiments, maybe more. I experimented every single day. It was about observation. And because my training way back is, I have a scientific background. And so to me, it was always like, okay, let me tweak this little thing and keep everything else the same and see what happens next. That's how we run scientific experiments in a lab. You hold a number of variables constant, and you only change one variable at a time to see whether this variable really makes a difference. And so I was convinced that law of attraction works. And the reason I was convinced was because I had examples of people before me who were telling me that they had changed their lives using the law of attraction. And so in my mind, if they can do it, I should be able to do it. If it's a law, that means I'm doing something wrong. I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong and fix it, and then it will work for me. So that was basically the process that I followed, and many years later I ended up documenting everything in a book called Manifesting Mistakes, that has 15 mistakes that are the most common mistakes. That there are so many mistakes people make, but in that book there are 15 mistakes that I made and that I see other people making as well, in understanding and applying the law of attraction.
Can you give us a couple examples of these mistakes that people consistently make?
For sure. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I was making is that I treated it like a tool. Like you take a can opener, you open the can and you put it back in the drawer. Law of attraction isn't like that. Gravity isn't like that. Gravity is working all the time. And so one of the things that I figured out was this is not a tool. I have to be consistent. It requires everyday work. And basically, it doesn't require as much work as it requires attention. I just need to be conscious that law of attraction is working and not do things that are going to make the law give me negative results. For example, when we have a glass in our hands, we look for a place to put the glass down, because if it is made of glass and we don't put it down on a firm surface, we know that it's going to shatter. It's going to fall and break. So, with law of attraction, if the law is working all the time and I don't pay attention to what I am doing, I'm going to break a lot of glasses. And it's not really going to be glasses, it's going to be my life. And I don't want those kinds of things to happen to me anymore. I want to be able to pay my bills at the end of the month or even during the month. I want more money sitting in my bank account than I know what to do with. I want all my relationships to work harmoniously. I want love in all my relationships. I want to feel happy at work, whatever work I'm doing. I don't want it to be painful to wake up in the morning and tell myself, oh my God, I have to go to work again. Why is it Monday? Right? So I wanted all these things in my life to change. I wanted people to be nice to me. I wanted to be nice to people. I wanted to be able to go shopping and buy whatever I felt like buying. I wanted to be able to help people, and I wanted to lavish my children with things that I never had the opportunity to have. And so I wanted to change all of that. In order to do that, I had to make sure that I was paying attention to gravity and the law of attraction.
So okay, but what are a couple of common mistakes that just any person usually makes
Well,
to
here's-
shift to help? Yes, like
yeah, I get
so,
it. I get it. So,
yeah.
how do you make law of attraction work all day, every day?
No, no,
By
no. I want to know what are the common mistakes that people like. I know some of this people expect they think that by them just wishing it or thinking about it, it's gonna happen. They don't realize that they don't put it, they have to put in the work, like you said, constantly working every
every day.
day
Exactly.
to make it
Yeah.
happen. But one of the common mistakes people do believe is like with the movie The Secret, everybody's like, oh, you keep thinking and it will become no, but you also have to put in the work. Like you said, every day you have to work towards that and make it happen. It's not that if you just sit there and
And it
and
will
think
happen.
and
No.
think about it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the common
Yeah.
mistakes I
So
feel people make.
the thing that the missing piece there is that um, thinking about it the way that is based on law of attraction will open the right doors for you,
Mhm.
will make it easier for you to do the work that you need to do, but you're not doing away with the work. You're not going to sit on the couch at home and visualize it into being. Action is definitely a part of it, but we
Yes.
call it aligned action, which means that the action is based on law of attraction.
Mhm.
So it is inspired action, it is aligned action, it is action. So let me give you an example. I want to be a doctor, but I don't want to go to school to be a doctor. Well, guess what? Law of attraction is not going to help you to bypass going to school, because that's the step involved. So if you want something, then do the things that will take you there. A law of attraction belief system that involves faith and trust will just make it easy for you
Yes.
to do the work, but the work will still need to be done. It's just
Mhm.
that when you practice gratitude and appreciation, you don't wake up in the morning kicking up a fuss about doing the work.
Yes.
Your
And
attitude towards doing the work is different, and your attitude makes it easier to do the work,
mhm.
because your attitude makes it hard and your attitude makes it easy. And
of,
that's
of
the difference.
of course, yes, because like you said, there's days it's like it's like you regret you like, oh, Monday, it's Monday already. Oh my, I don't want to go to work.
Exactly.
That,
Yeah,
so when you look at it as like, all right, I'm up, let's go to work, let's get it done, and and and,
exactly.
and focus on that. Because
It's
this
a
is one
different
prime example.
attitude.
Yeah, yeah, it is your attitude. It's how you approach it and how you go with it.
Exactly.
'Cause again,
Exactly.
it's like the thing with when you stub your toe, you can let it go there, or you could let it permeate and bother you throughout the whole day, and that's gonna just ruin your day.
That's right.
Where
Yeah.
if you just stub your toe and like, it hurts at the moment, and just let it go and just focus on going about your day, then yeah, it's a
Well,
difference.
I'm going to pick on that example that you just gave. It's a great example to work with, because if I stub my toe, that is the universe sending me a message. And that's what it means to pay attention, to be aware where your thoughts are. Because if you spill coffee, if you stub your toe, if something happens, you slam the door on your hand, that is the universe sending you a signal that says you better watch out, because more is like this is coming. So that's an opportunity. That's what awareness does, is people don't pay attention to the little things that are happening in our lives, but the little things are indicators of the direction we are taking in our life. So I can stop right there and say, oh, I must be heading in the wrong way, let me find something to
Mhm.
appreciate. And then you start appreciating and your day starts getting better. People don't do that. One of the mistakes people make is when they stub their toe or they spill their coffee, everyone hears about it, which means that they keep themselves there. They don't let it go. Like
Yo,
you said,
yeah.
let it go and move on. People don't let it go and move on. They talk about it. They post it on Facebook. Oh my God, there are so many times that I see pictures of people showing their injuries on Facebook. And I'm like, stop it, because you're making it bigger. That's not the solution.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely right. That's one thing as I that one of the common mistakes people do is they stub their toe and they just focus on that all day. Like,
They
oh man,
roam.
I can't.
Yeah.
I hit my I banged
Yeah.
my toe. It's still wrong, and they just won't let it go, and they just won't let
No,
it go. So, and that's and like you said, that's a sign where, why like I hurt my toe. Let me maybe take some moments to reflect and meditate, something to really
exactly.
get me going, to
That's
really
right.
get me on a different path and and
That's
and,
right.
and a different attitude compared to just focusing on the pain and thinking
That's
about
right.
that for the rest of the day.
So that's the awareness part. But the next part is the reason law of attraction is not a tool is because you don't do it for 15 minutes and put it away in the drawer.
It's all
It
day.
is something you've got to practice throughout your day. People think that they're going to meditate for 15, 20 minutes or half an hour or even an hour, and then they're going to visualize for a few minutes. But my question is, what are you doing when you come out of the visualization? What are you doing when you come out of the meditation? Because if you're doing all of that for 1 hour a day, but for 14 hours a day, you are dissing everything, you're complaining all the time, then guess what? You're not generating enough positive vibration to counter all the negativity that you are putting out into the universe every single day.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree with that.
Mhm.
So can you explain the concept of heart and mind alignment and its significance in manifesting desires?
So, heart and mind alignment is a process that I teach in all the work that I do. Basically, our heart is the place that gives rise to desire. Like we want something. that desire piece, but our mind holds us back because the mind comes up with all sorts of reasons why you can't have it. You're not ready for it. You don't have the face, you don't have the body, you don't have the age, you don't have the income, whatever reasons. So our mind tells us not to go after our desires. Heart and mind alignment happens when we say, okay, I may not be ready just now. What do I need to do to get ready? And that's how we close the gap. So we close the gap between the heart and the mind, and we find alignment, which means that the heart and mind are looking at things the same way. They are both empowered and pointing in the same direction. An example would be that you're in a little rowboat and you have the heart sitting in it and the mind sitting in it, and they're both paddling in opposite directions. So that boat is not going to go anywhere. Your mind has to line up with your desires, and instead of stopping you from getting there, your mind has to find ways to get you there. And it starts with the mind saying, I can do it. I just have to figure out how, but I can do it. A lot of times we just close the door by saying, oh, that's just not going to happen for me. It happens for other people, but it doesn't happen for me. And so, heart and mind alignment, I actually have a 4-step process that helps us to close that gap. And basically, what that process is step one, you have to, like any GPS, you have to know where you are. And step two, you need to know where you're going. Step three is quieting the mind, is giving the mind reasons for not closing the door. So we give reasons to the mind for not closing the door by saying, well, if other people can do it, that means they figured it out. I can figure it out as well. I just have to do what I need to do in order to be ready. And I've done difficult things before in my life. I've seen other people do difficult things in their lives. I know that person who was exactly my age, looked like me, had hair like me, was the same size, same age, same whatever, same background. And if they can do it, then I can do it too. So you quiet the resistance that the mind is creating, because the mind kind of puts the brakes on. And what we want is for the mind to release the brakes to allow you to go forward, not jump, but take steps forward. That's what having a goal is all about. When we have a goal, then the next thing we do is break it down into smaller steps. And if we don't do that, then we don't make progress. But the added little thing that we do in Law of Attraction in step three is to deal with our negative beliefs. So, our negative beliefs will always say, you don't have this, that is why you can't have that. And so, dealing with that negative beliefs that says, I may not have it today, but I can certainly find a way to have it tomorrow. I can figure out another way to get to where I want to go. So you soothe yourself, and step four is appreciation. Because appreciation raises your energy, and when you raise your energy, all doors open. And so then it becomes easy to go through one of those doors. The choice is yours. The universe does not decide which door you should go through. That is always ours. That's why we get stuck, because we get stuck when we make the choice not to move forward, not to do anything about the desires that we have. And that's where we were talking about action. That's where the role of action comes in. You
Mhm.
know what you've got to do. If you don't do it, then you'll stay where you are.
And that's hence why I named my podcast "Stuck in My Mind" podcast, because for a while I was stuck in my mind about, should I start a podcast? Should I not start my podcast? Oh, should
Exactly.
I was just making up so many excuses.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna fail, or people are not gonna listen to me. I'm not gonna have an
Yeah.
audience. Nobody wants to sit down and talk to me. And these were just all excuses that I was just feeding myself so I wouldn't do the podcast. And then one day I'm just sitting here talking with my nephew, and I finally decided to press record, and Stuck in My Mind podcast was born.
There
And
you
it
go.
And
See?
it took me getting out of my own mind, out of my own head, and stop making excuses and take the action to make it happen. It was me really. And then once I started, it was like I couldn't stop. I was just okay,
Right.
because
Right.
it was like, all right, I can do this.
Exactly.
I have things I want to talk about. I have a story to share. I want people to come on and share their stories and their experiences. And it was like, okay. And so with each episode, the time grew. It went from 7 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes
Yeah.
to me interviewing people. And now to the point where now because I was strictly audio at first.
Right.
Then I transitioned to video and audio and everything. And it was me taking the actions, me wanting to learn, me wanting to find out how I can make my podcast grow. What was the actions I needed to do? I
Right.
started making the right connections. Like you said, when you make that shift
Exactly.
and you start focusing on what you want to get done
Yeah.
and what and how you want to do it,
Yeah.
like doors, you said doors open, yes.
Yes. Doors open. Exactly.
And people come through those doors to come show you and guide you on this
Exactly.
path. So
Yes.
when I did the shift and did focus on wanting to build a podcast and wanting to grow, opportunity arise, doors open, people started wanting to show me this is what
Yes.
you need to do to improve. These are the little things you're not doing right now to make slight changes.
That's
So
right.
honestly, in this past year, with all the things, because I've been doing the podcast for 3 years, 3.5 years or whatever, and it was December 2022 that I really started focusing on certain things that people had taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've doubled the amount of downloads I did in my first 2 years, 2.5 years. And it's because again, it was that shift. It was me taking the action to want to improve.
Exactly. So that's the thing. When you take even a little bit of action, what happens is with every little step you take, you give up a little bit of fear. It's the fear that holds us back. It's the fear when our mind detects fear inside us, it stops us from moving forward, because that's the role of the mind. The mind wants to protect us from danger. If you're feeling fear, then your mind is saying, oh, there must be danger out there, we better not go there, we better not do that podcast because that's making you fearful, let's not go there. Instead, what we need to do is to say, I can go there. I just need to take one step at a time. I don't need to jump all the way over there. So, fear. So we talk about in Law of Attraction, we talk about the concept of the emotional scale. Fear is a very low vibration, and love is the opposite. Love is a very high vibration. So I usually use a pen to signify that this is an emotional scale. Right down here is despair, and along here is fear and anger and revenge and guilt and blame are all in this negative part, low down on the emotional scale. The worry line is in the middle, and it divides the emotional scale into a negative half at the bottom and a positive half at the top. So we need to go past the worry line into hope, enthusiasm, eagerness, satisfaction, love, and joy. And when we do that, all doors open, because your emotions are the key that opens the field of all possibilities. In quantum physics, we understand that anything is possible. All the possibilities for the way things can work out are out there, and they are alternate realities that exist. But it is our emotion that allows us access. If you are at a low place on the emotional scale, only those possibilities are available for you that match the emotion that you're feeling. So we don't want to manifest things from a place of fear. We want to manifest things from a place of confidence. When you manifest things from a place of confidence, you feel good. And when you feel good, then more things that match that positive emotion start coming into your life, because emotions are the key that open the field of all possibilities.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you with that. So, what would you what advice would you offer to someone who is just beginning their journey of self discovery and empowerment?
I'm going to say that if you could keep handy, repeat often the affirmation, all things are possible, then you will always find your way. For example, if I want to buy something or I want a different career, and I say, that's not going to happen for me. And then I remember, but all things are possible because it's law of attraction. Okay, so that means I just can't see the possibility just now. But if all things are possible, then this too is possible. And I'm going to allow the universe to show me how it can become possible for me. Because my way is not going to look like your way, is not going to look like someone else's way. I want the universe to show me my path. And that's how you open up the path. And then one day you're sitting there and an idea will just drop into your lap. Call this person, do this, read this book, go to the news just now, or just go to Google, because there's something waiting for you right there. And so that's how the universe talks to us, because the universe talks to us through other people and things that are already in our environment. And sometimes, once you start becoming aligned enough that you're always in the top part of the emotional scale, you start receiving messages. They drop right into your mind. But you know that it wasn't your thought because it dropped into your mind. It wasn't something that you were already thinking or considering. That's how you receive guidance. And Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say that prayer is us talking to God. Intuition is God talking to us.
It's funny that you mentioned Dr. Wayne Dyer. I actually when I sleep, I actually either have him playing or I'll have Jim Rome playing or even Les Brown. So
Yeah.
I alternate, and then I have some other people that I listen to before I go to sleep and while I'm sleeping, and it's just to keep me on that mindset to
Absolutely. All
keep
wonderful teachers. Yes.
yes.
Yes. And so that's the other thing. We tend to ruminate on things that are bothering us, and that's one of the mistakes people make, is to ruminate or focus on the thing that's not going right. But it's law of attraction, which means that you get more of whatever you think about. So if you think about things that are not going right, you're attracting more of what cannot go right. But if you shift that and you start appreciating what is going right, or at the bare minimum, just get off the subject and think about something else, change the channel, now you're allowing good things to come into your life. So, like a lot of us are taught to think about this and then you'll get the answer. But in reality, you have to get off thinking in order for the answers to come. And we're not getting off the topic of thinking forever, just not when we are in a place of negative emotion. When you're in a negative emotional place on the emotional scale and you think about something that you would like to improve, you actually do more damage than good. And we don't realize that. Nobody ever taught me that. It's not what we teach at school. I wish that it was taught at school, because it would save a lot of us a lot of hassle.
Yeah, it definitely would, but again, like you said, it's not something that's taught. Um, it's that's if our education system would be much better off if they would teach people that, but
Exactly. Yes.
it's just the way of them keeping people in in line and check. So, um, So, as an author, coach, and speaker, what future projects or initiatives are you excited to explore?
My goodness, so many. I'm I have a lot of things swimming in my head, but what I usually say is I enjoy them in my head and I let them go. I'm not attached to them. But sometimes you have an idea come to you that you just can't help but want to take action on. And so currently I'm working on another book. So I've written 18, but this is going to be my 19th book. And this one is an anthology. So I have authors, friends, people that I know who are all heart based coaches. They are participating in this anthology, and our objective is to help people figure out mental health and mindset by actually being vulnerable in sharing our own journeys, by telling stories about, like, just sharing the story of how what happened and then how did I deal with it. But the thing that I'm most excited about is that we are going to use the book as a fundraiser and give away 100% of the royalties from this book to support women and children in shelters in our own local communities. So, what makes this project different is that every author is going to raise funds in their local communities to give back to the community in which they reside. So, I'm really, really excited about it.
That's amazing. That's something. That's an amazing project. Um, that's wonderful. That's a great thing that you've built those relationships with people that they're they're willing to engage in such a project to give back to the community, and that just shows you the wonderful things you can do when you make that mind shift. That when you start putting
Absolutely.
into action the
Yes.
things that you plan, like you
Yes.
said, you have a lot of things that go up in your head, but
Yes.
and it's great to when like it's been like when since I started my podcast, I've never thought of myself as a creative person or whatever it was.
Right.
And I started doing my podcast and I started realizing I'm more creative than I give myself credit for. It was, and then I started creating more shows, started editing stuff, started creating thumbnails, and I'm like, man, I'm really am creative.
Yes.
I am capable of
Exactly.
these things. And for such a long time, I was doubting myself. Again, fear, going back to fear, because
Yeah.
like you said, your mind is trying to protect you from yourself. Where you're like, oh no, I don't want you to hurt yourself. If you fail, you're gonna hurt.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Fear. If we start understanding fear and we start really, when we start recognizing fear in our body and we pay attention to it and we do the work, the mindset work that is involved to shift that fear, everything in our life changes. And really, Will, what I've discovered is that law of attraction really is all about mental health and mindset.
That was my next question: is can, how can people go about using the law of attraction to help with whatever mental health issues they're dealing with?
Everything in law of attraction is about positive thinking. So law of attraction primarily teaches us how to switch our thoughts around, let go those negative beliefs that are blocking us, and move forward, because negative beliefs, guess what they produce as an emotion? Fear.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So we eliminate those negative beliefs. I think that the difference in law of attraction is that it brings a couple of things together in one place that have not been together in one place before. The number one thing is quantum physics. Law of attraction is all about quantum physics. Number two, law of attraction is all about psychology and mindset. But the number three thing that law of attraction brings into that mix is the role of faith and trust, which are predominantly religious concepts. And we don't go into religion at all. However, we go deep into understanding what trust is based on quantum physics, and psychology. And so, in my mind, the reason law of attraction is so powerful in this day and age is because um, people need something that draws these three concepts together. Because as a culture, as a society, our science has advanced to a level where if something cannot be proven scientifically, we question it. We have become a society that in today's day and age really recognizes the role of mental health and mindset. And we are a society that is no longer willing to just accept religion without understanding religion fully. And so there are a lot of people out there who are confused by religion. And law of attraction actually builds a bridge between science, psychology, and religion in a manner that we are able to grasp it and use it right away. And I think that is why we use this new term, law of attraction, rather than why don't we just call it mindset and psychology? Because it's not just mindset and psychology, and it's not just religion. In fact, it is a mix of science along with psychology and trust and faith.
Yeah, and so yeah, so it's a blend of it all because
Yes,
you have to have faith and believe in what you're doing, and because if you don't, it's not going to work. So you have to
exactly.
go in with that faith that what I'm doing is the right thing.
Exactly. Yes.
What the work that I'm putting in is the work that needs to be done. You
Yes.
have to believe in that. You have to trust that in order for it to succeed.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So there's a new way of understanding faith and trust, and that is what law of attraction is all about. Yeah.
Could you share a powerful affirmation or mantra that listeners can incorporate into their daily lives?
Absolutely. So what I teach in the workbook, Unlimited Workbook, is a 40-day Law of Attraction workbook. What I teach is that the power of intention. Our intention is the most important thing. So, a morning intention, the one that is in the workbook, which I've been practicing for so many years since I wrote the workbook 2015, which is quite a few years. And I teach the workbook every single day in my group coaching program. Here, if you could just say these words every morning, you would start your day off on a very high note. And the words are, thank you for this brand new opportunity to enjoy life. I want my day to unfold with ease. I want good things to come my way. I want to remember to appreciate people, places, and things. I want to be good to myself and others. I want to end this day feeling happy and satisfied. And I want to remember at all times that all things are possible. So, this basically captures all the things that we have to keep in our awareness during the day. Be good to yourself and others is all about your self worth. Ending the day feeling satisfied raises your self worth. Remembering that all things are possible is at the basis of everything that is law of attraction. It's very empowering. So we use it as a morning intention, but really it is something that you can repeat to yourself at any point in time during the day. And so this is what I think that it has changed so many lives. And it is something that I offer with a lot of sincerity to anyone who wants to start using the power of thought to change their lives.
Oh man, this has been wonderful. I really do appreciate you being on the show. But now is the part of the show where you get the solo screen and you get to plug away, let people know your websites, where they can get the workbook, everything. So it's yours. Here you go.
All right. Thank you so much, Will. So, my handle across all social media, including my website, is Z Mahoon, Zmahoon. So, my first initial and my last name. I have 18 books, including books on parenting, self worth. I have a book that explains the science behind Law of Attraction. It's called Thrive. The Unlimited Workbook has a support group associated with it on Facebook where you can find free resources to practice Law of Attraction. There's over 1,000 videos in that group that you can access for free. And joining the group is free. You just have to purchase the workbook. Um, Connect with me. There is nothing that I enjoy more than answering questions about the application of Law of Attraction to actual real people's lives. And my YouTube channel is all about that. People send in their questions and I post a response on YouTube. So I would love to connect with whoever wants to connect with me, and I'm always happy to respond to questions. I have a number of online courses that you can also take a look at. And just trust that if you are here, then there's something in it for you. There's no coincidence in the universe. Will, thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for being a guest. It's a wonderful. Like I said, this is a topic I love discussing. Is the law of attraction? It's something that's impacting my life. So whenever I have these opportunities to discuss it with people, I love it. It's something that needs to be shared more often. Um, People just really need to sit down and do their research and find out, like, these are the things you need to do. And but thank you, I really had a great time. I enjoy these conversations. This is why I do my podcast, is to be
Thank
able
you
to
so much.
have these conversations and be able to have people come share their knowledge, share their stories. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
Oh,
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I greatly do. It's I've found something here that I love to do. And again, had I not taken the action, I would not. This
yes,
conversation wouldn't have happened.
exactly.
This
Yes.
this 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 conversation has been 3 years in the making. So, and it's true though. But these conversations are meant to. If they're meant to happen, they will happen.
Yes.
And then I truly do believe that. So thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This is great. I love talking about this. This is something I feel strongly about, that I feel people should learn about and should really do their research and find their path. And and and
Exactly. Yes.
these are the episodes that I love to have. So once
Absolutely.
again, thank you. Um, listen. I've had return guests, so you're always there's an open door here. So whenever you would like to come on again in the near future, if you have any projects coming out or book, or when you get ready to release the anthology, send me a message. We'll have you back on, and we'll talk about that.
I'd
So,
love to send you a copy of the anthology when it's ready.
oh, let me know. Oh, yeah, I'll send you my address and everything.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. But don't leave just yet. Chat a little bit off the air.
Yeah.
But let me just close out the show. All right. That was a wonderful show, everyone. Thank you for everyone who tuned in live. If you catch the replay, thank you as well. If you haven't subscribed or liked the Real Wise TV YouTube channel or Stuck in My Mind podcast YouTube channel, please do. Check us out on the BS3 network, Roku channel. Download it. Go to Roku, download the BS3 network. Catch us every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Thank you everyone who's been supporting the show. Greatly appreciate it. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady. Appreciate you, baby, and appreciate all you've done for me. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless you. Be safe. And to Zehra Mahoon for coming through and having a great episode. Thank you so much. But everybody have a blessed evening. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.